Hello, my channel mammals. I'm on the cargo deck of Yankee right now, Yankee Ferry, the ship. And I had this platter. Isn't this a beautiful platter? This is the only one we made. And it was a prototype, just the very beginning of something that we were working on for Ishkabibble. It would be another layer, a floral layer that goes with the marbleized Ishkabibble. I should have brought a piece of that up to show you. Maybe I will. In the end, we can take a photo and we can stick it into the video. How's that? Well, here's the thing I wanted to tell you about here. A gentleman, a very sweet and kind man, was concerned at first, his first order from us. He ordered a teacup and saucer of superfluous. And inside the teacup were a few little places where you could see the red clay. And then on the foot of it also, on the other side of it, a few little dots. And he said, I wonder about this quality. And I thought, oh, if he only knew the whole story. So I told him I would make a video and tell the whole story. And he's very excited about his cup now. He feels it's the most important cup he's ever had. So I hope you enjoy the lesson here. Okay, so this pottery, that most of the pottery that we make is made with glaze called mayolica. And it came into being in the strangest fashion. I think I told you all that in America, as we started having the Western development, we were having to get our china from China. So they shipped the china all the way across the deserts and the wide open spaces of the Far East. And it got to be later on that it was expensive to bring pottery all the way from China. So we started to make our own. But we wanted it to look like the white china that the Chinese made. And because their clay is from the tops of the mountains, where the clay is still white and very strong. It's called porcelain. And our clay was muddy and dirty and had bugs and dried leaves in it in the bottoms of the riverbeds. And so in order to try to make it emulate the white, pure white china from China, we called it China because it was from China, but it's really porcelain. And so, you know what we did? We added tin to the glaze, the clear glaze, so that it didn't look like brown pottery. And it made it look white. And then we painted beautiful flowers and designs on the surface of this white glaze. And as we experimented, we got better at it, but it never completely became like China. It started eventually to have its own place in the world. But it's taken a long time. It's a long journey. And as my friend, the gentleman who was concerned about it, had to learn that there's still lessons to learn about history that make us appreciate the evolution of an idea even more. Well, so what happens when you put this opaque white glaze over the red clay? Remember I told you what the red clay has in it. It has a lot of organic material that's burning out as the fire flames come round to bring the temperature up and change the quality of clay from raw that could be melted down and put back in the rivers to a a fashion where it can't be ever melted down again. It changes its form to be pottery. And so, but in that process, the little things that are in the clay that make it brown, some of it's because of minerals and some of it's because of organic material. Well, some of the organic material, as it's burning out, it makes steam because there's chemical water still in the clay. Even though it's dry before you fire it, there's still steam and water that's held by this organic matter. And as it burns out, the organic matter has to burn out because it can't last like clay. So it burns out and it breaks through the white glaze that's molten at that time. It's wiggly and wet. It makes little holes to get the steam out. And so we call those pinholes. And sometimes, whilst it's firing, the pinholes close up at the end. You can sometimes see a shadow of them, but they're not really a hole. And sometimes they don't get a chance to get all the way shut up. It just depends on where it is in the kiln. It depends on where it is in the pot. It depends on so many things. It depends on the clay that you just dug. It depends on so much of what it's made of and so forth. So as I was taking this plate down to look at it, appreciate it, I thought, oh, this is a good example of pinholes. Now these are pinholes that closed up. They still have like a shadow. You can still, but it's glazed all the way over. See, my thumb doesn't get stuck in it. But some of them, there's one. See, my thumb is stuck here. It's a teeny, teeny little hole. See that little hole? When you get really close, you see it. Let's see. I'll find some more. There aren't that many that didn't close up on this platter. Oh, here's one. Here's another one. Can you see right if I move my thumb? See it? Yeah. So, and on the back there might be some. Okay. These holes are by the way for tying a wire through so you can hang the platter if you want. Okay. Here's some pinholes. These, believe it or not, are not completely closed up, but almost. Let's see if I can find any. Usually there are more. Well, just any of these little dipples that you see, those are where the organic matter, oh, here's some in here, all around the foot, where organic matter has burned out and it hadn't closed up again. Maybe it was a little cooler inside this area, and so by the time the heat, by the time we stopped firing the kilns, it was still open. But it doesn't matter because it's part of the character of Majolica, and a lot of Americans became nervous about this. They tended to have kind of fears of germs, and health and things like that, and they forgot, the beauty of what comes in a piece that you can feel all the things that it's gone through. You feel what this platter has gone through to become, and it's so special. It's not. Just feeling the layers of the states and stages of evolution and the history, that the reason that we had this white tin glaze that we put on our brown pottery is so funny, because we were trying to copy porcelain that we couldn't have in our country because we don't have natural deposits of porcelain like in those tall mountains in the Far East, and so anyway, it tells the story of why those little things are there, and they're not dangerous. And also another thing that happens are crawls, they're called, and sometimes on some bowl that you might have or something where the glaze is a little bit thicker, it'll crawl away. So it kind of makes like a slight sort of wiggly mountain range. I can't explain it. I wish I had one to show you. Maybe I'll take a photo of one and show you. So the third thing that's kind of obvious to people who are used to a sterilized life are craze lines. And those are where clay, you see clay and glaze are the same materials basically. They're all from the earth and so forth. But the formulas, they don't always fit each other perfectly. So in temperature changes or in use over years even, sometimes you'll see, like in the bottom of a teacup, you might see what we call crazing. And that's just like little thin lines, and it picks up the color of what was in the teacup. So it might be dark, you know, and one time I was signing a piece on the bottom, and after I had done the grinding in with the Dremel, or not the Dremel, with the signing tool, as like a vibrating tool, then I rubbed ink into it, and it rubbed into the clay that was around it, and it showed the craze lines in black, but they were there. They're there just because it's natural, because everything is breathing in the world. Everything is moving and living, and so in a way. And so that's the whole story that I can think of right now. I just wanted to share that with you, because when you know that, you love it even more, and you love the surprises of life even more, and you cherish handmade, homemade things that have come on long journeys to be with you, and the whole story is complete in your arms. So, goodbye. Nice to see you.